ECU?
Do you bleed purple and gold?
Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Watch the show live on Facebook
And at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
We're one day away from East Carolina hosting Memphis in an important American Conference game inside Dowdy Ficklen Stadium. It is Hoist the Colors on a football Friday. We'll make our game picks as we always do on this Friday, and we'll look ahead to ECU Memphis. And we can also talk some basketball if you want to. Interesting outcome last night in Minges Coliseum. But we're talking a lot of football today. We've got Bobby Harward in studio. Bobby, how you doing?
Doing well. I'm glad it has warmed up a little bit from earlier in the week. This is going to be, I was thinking, Saturday is going to be the coldest game this roster plays unless we play a bowl game up in New York or Boston, because, I mean, you got to think about it. Last week was, in the 70s when they played?
Yeah.
And then next week they're in a dome in San Antonio, and then the following week they're in Florida. So this is literally going to be the coldest game they play all year.
And it's
unless
a high
they
of 69.
Wow.
I don't know if maybe Temple. Temple was high 50s?
Was Temple a little colder?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. It's up in Philadelphia, one of the worst sports cities in America, Lane Smith.
Wow. Taking shots early at Lane Smith. Yeah, it says low of 44, high of 69 tomorrow. I want to say Temple was in the high 50s. Nice.
Well, let's think, though, that was a day game. This one, it's going to be dark. By the end of the game, it might be cold.
Yeah. I think I was looking at the weather last night on local TV. It said like 61 degrees by the conclusion of the game. But that is a weather report, so, you know.
Who was the guy that used to give the weather reports on the field?
Well, now it's like a rotating cast. It used to be David Sawyer, I think.
Okay.
And he did it last game.
Okay. So
David Sawyer, Patrick Johnson's middle school football coach.
Really?
Yes. The only problem is with that situation, David is one of those guys who's like genuinely will not say anything bad about anybody, which I respect him for. But I always trying to like bait him when we get him on Patrick's show to like telling us some like crazy story about Patrick when he was a kid and some like total horrendous mess up he had on the field. And David just like refuses to talk about people. So I respect him for it, but I need some good Patrick content here. I need some blackmail for Patrick. I don't know.
I've got some good texts from Patrick while he was calling the game last night, but I probably shouldn't read those on the air. He was doing the broadcast for ESPN Plus. Tough game, but ECU wins it. Hey, a win's a win, right?
The game doesn't matter anyways because it doesn't show on your record.
That's right.
It's
Technically,
Division
doesn't
II game.
count.
No, it does show on your record. It doesn't show on your net or your RPI. It shows in your win-loss.
It shows in your win-loss, but again, I'll revert.
Look, we could have a whole show on basketball. Do we want to do it?
Dude, I'm going to freaking lose my mind. I haven't been watching for a reason.
Do I need to have the dump button ready, Bobby?
Pretty much.
I did take my family to the game last night. And the good news is they had a great time. They didn't know who ECU was playing. They had their love for popcorn was discovered. We did have to leave second half, so call me a fair weather fan. But I watched the end on TV, and yeah.
I think if you go to Elizabeth City State versus East Carolina, you cannot be labeled a fair
This is
weather
true.
fan.
You also had you left because you have a 2 and a 4-year-old.
Right,
It
that's
wasn't like you were just like, oh, I'm dipping.
Yeah.
I will say, so I was talking to Darren like during the last media timeout, and he said like majority of the people did stay. Like the student section was still pretty full.
It was
there.
a decent crowd,
He was like they
all
were
things
dead,
considered.
but like they were there.
There's just a lot of frustrated people for obvious
We had a
reasons.
UNC shirt or jacket on the front row.
Yeah, it was bad.
I mean, what are we doing?
All right, let's we got a big football game in Dowdy Ficklen. We got all winter to talk Pirate Hoops, baby. And there's plenty of discussion going on hoistthecolors.net. So a lot of people not happy. And next up is at UNCW. Hopefully they get Jordan Riley back and get Jay Shane healthy. But
Won't matter.
It's going to be a tough one. I'm going to cover that game. So hopefully
Are you still going?
That's the plan. Yeah.
God, dog.
I enjoy good basketball sporting event atmospheres, and Trask Coliseum will provide that on Tuesday, one way or the other.
It'll be Go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say it will. I've been there one time, and it was like an out-of-conference game. It wasn't even us. It was like Northeastern or something like that.
They packed that place out.
And no, it was that isn't their conference. It was Davidson, so I guess it wasn't in-state school, but still.
All right. Speaking of things I'm hearing that I'm not loving or seeing, I'm hearing the crowd for Saturday might not be great. Talking to some sources at the game last night, Lane Smith says the fans really need to show up for this one. No excuses. I'm hearing it could be a small crowd. And he also says no basketball talk. Yeah, I'm hearing a couple things here. Look, I've been going to ECU games a very long time. For whatever reason, as the calendar gets later, the crowds always drop off. But usually, like, weather plays a part in that. We were just talking about the weather situation. It sounds like it's going to be pretty beautiful. I will say a couple things. ECU put out this morning, about 30 minutes before the show, that a longtime Pirate Club member has purchased 100 lower-level tickets for tomorrow's game versus Memphis, and you can claim those complimentary tickets beginning at 1 p.m. at the ECU Athletics ticket office, a limit of 4. So shout out to Philip, W-A-U-G-H, Philip Wah. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but I'm going to go with that. Please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Philip, though, great job doing that. Not Philip Pilkington, but the other.
Yeah, I don't have the money to do that. Sorry, guys. I'd help out if I could.
And then Blake Harrell put out a video through ECU football that Sup Dogs will be giving away something in the fourth quarter for the students. So they're trying to get the students to stay.
There you go.
You know what, though, credit, like, you shouldn't have to do this.
I agree.
But
100%.
credit to Brett for stepping up and doing it. Like, that just shows you the kind of person he is and how much he cares about this university and about this team. And I want to remind people, Brett did not go to ECU.
Yeah, but he knows how much ECU means to his business and in the city.
Yeah.
And so shout out, look, we talk about Brett. Speaking of Brett, Sup Dog sponsoring today's program, Bobby Howard's appearance. So look, they do amazing things. You wish more businesses in the area that benefit from ECU football specifically would get behind it too. But that's awesome, and can't wait to see that. John Moody's in the comments says hearing 31,000 from the grounds. Look, we've had the attendance discussion ad nauseum. There's multiple reasons for it. I would be disappointed if they can't at least get to the 35 to 38K range for this game. I mean, they should be at 40, but the other factor is too, like, Memphis is not going to bring any fans, and that's always a factor.
80% full? It's that much? It's too much to ask for 80%?
It is, apparently. I mean, you're playing for a right to go to the conference championship, theoretically, and
it's a playoff game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying if you win, you make the conference championship game, but if you lose, you're out.
It's a 4 o'clock kickoff. It's a beautiful day, mid-November.
Yeah. It ain't Christmas yet. It ain't Thanksgiving yet. What the hell is anybody doing on November the 15th?
Discounted tickets.
Yeah, $12.
So I'm just a little disappointed, but maybe we'll get a nice walk-up crowd.
Is that a thing anymore? They always talk about the walk-up. Everybody buys it on their phone like 3 days in advance now.
I agree.
It's not like you walk up to the ticket booth and you're like, hey, I'll have 6.
Well,
and
you
they
can
like
walk up
print
to
it
the
out,
ticket
they
booth today
break
and
it
get
off.
100 free tickets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do want to give credit to the Pirate Club because they are at least trying. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
I've specifically have been hard on them in the past, but I have noticed an effort this season in football, even this season in basketball. I think I'd mentioned before on the show, not to take this into the basketball realm, but you know, when we had not renewed season tickets for football, we never received any communications. Well, this year with basketball, we didn't renew. We got multiple emails. We got multiple phone calls. Like, to me, that's how it should be. I still said no, but because I knew the product was going to stink like it does. But football-wise, like, I mean, we've asked for decreased ticket prices. They're doing that. I mean, $25 in the lower bowl is pretty good. $12 in the upper deck is incredible. And for those who have not sat up in the upper deck, that's my favorite spot because you can see everything happening on the field.
Yeah. You have the view that the coaches have in the booth.
Yes.
And look, I definitely see some frustration over there because they're trying to move tickets. I do think a lot of this goes back to when your season ticket base is only at 15,000, it's hard to move that many single game tickets. Like, I mean, even to get to 35, you do have student pickup, which I guess is around 10 to 12, but you're having to move, 10,000 single game tickets. That's a lot. I mean, so they got to find a way to get that season ticket number back up moving forward and continue stacking games like this. It just feels like for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the conference opponents, but I've been going to games a long time that the attendance just typically drops off as the year goes on.
Well, you had 2 Thursday night games. That doesn't help.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, every game's on ESPN Plus. That doesn't help.
That's definitely helped or not helped with our overall numbers too in terms of averages and stuff. I'll say this, I'm going to pull the pin and go ahead and toss this up. Regional conferences, you bring at least 5 to 10,000 opponent fans. So that's
if you were playing James Madison this weekend, they'd probably bring 5,000 people.
No doubt. And that increases that number for sure.
Mountaineers would do the same.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Charlotte does not.
Well, if they had 3 wins though instead of 1,
yeah.
'Cause remember basketball last year, there was like the behind the bench was full, and then like up kind of near media row, they had brought like a student section. Yeah, it was only like 10 or 15 guys, so I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but just think how much more that would be with football if their football team was sitting. If they were had the season Temple has going on right now, I don't see why they wouldn't bring 5 to 7,000.
Well, they had even 2 years ago. They had a lot more fans than they had. They had quite a bit. I was surprised how many fans there were 2 years ago. So I agree with you, Phil.
A couple of comments. Matt Lewis says we're 5,000 season tickets short of what we had during the rough era. And Jansen Kidd says Pirate Club has got to put in the work during the off season. They have alienated a large portion of their normal donors, young adults, families. There shouldn't be massive minimum donation levels to sit towards the end zone. So, some thoughts there that I think are fair. Like, there's got to be a balance too. You want to keep, donating the big donors. They're very important and they should get perked. But there's got to be a balance too. Like, you got to continue to build that season ticket base for the people who don't have as much funds or dispensable income, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about before the show, and I think he's mentioning kind of the same thing, is they kind of price some sections out and force those guys to shift. Well, if you're going to have to donate that much money, you're going to want to sit in the purple seat backs with the chairback seats, not the bleachers. So I think they price themselves out a little bit with the Pirate Club. Again, I would understand it if there was a high demand for those seats, but there was never really a high demand for those seats, so they kind of shot themselves in the foot there. Still, again, I'll give credit where it's due. They're trying to reel people back in here this week, as they should. You wish it was a little bit more successful.
Josh Thomas says he's headed back from Ocracoke. He is going to the game, and he's absolutely stoked. So, look, I've been in Dowdy-Ficklin for crowds of 30,000-ish. If the fans there are into it, it can be still a very awesome atmosphere. Specifically, the Houston Conference Championship game in 2009. I don't know the exact attendance. Let's see if I can find it. That was the loudest I've ever heard Dowdy-Ficklin, and it was nowhere near full. Let's see.
Yeah, because it was raining. I was at that game too, yeah.
I don't have an attendance number, but, I mean, it was probably 32,000 at most.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Boneyard wasn't done at that time,
the Boneyard,
so it was still a 40,000-seat stadium.
And it was everybody there was into it because they understood the stakes of the game. And that, of course, like, if ECU hosted the conference championship on this year, like, you have short notice. So it's kind of hard to.
And it's a Friday night game.
Yeah.
Is this the biggest home game since then?
Conference-wise,
yeah.
I think the NC State non-conference games. I mean,
Yeah.
For it's always a tough argument for like regional headlines and all that. I think those games make more noise, but like for ECU as a program taking the next step, 100%.
I mean, you could argue, people are not going to like me saying this, as to date, this is the biggest home game ever because you technically are alive for a national championship. You have never played a game on November the 15th and been alive to win a national championship. Is it going to happen? No, but technically, if you win every single game the rest of the way and you get a little luck, you will win the national championship.
You play in the national championship.
Well, I'm saying if you win every single game, and you would win the national championship. Like the point
Pirates
is,
are winning the national title.
I know it sounds crazy, but like what this game could mean, there is more of an opportunity with this game than there ever has been.
Let me ask you this: if we beat Tulane and we're undefeated in conference play, do you think the attendance is higher? Do you think that affected?
Definitely. Yeah. I think at that point you're probably.
I mean, pretty sure in. Yeah.
Hell, you're probably ranked.
I mean, if you're 8-1 right now, or whatever the record would be, 8-1 or 7-2, you'd be just that number and talking about college football playoff will get even the casual fans in, but who knows? All right, we got to get a break in. We're getting several comments here. We got a comment from the text line I'll read after this break because we got to at some point talk about the game as well. We'll do that on the other side. Let's get a break in. ECU Memphis discussion on the way. I found a few notes interesting this morning. We'll also pick that game and start our college picks as well after this.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. You get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Oh, hey.
Welcome back.
You got here just in time. This is Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors. We'll get to ECU Memphis in a minute. Stephen Igo here, Bobby Harward alongside, brought to you by Sup Dogs, Philip Pilkington producing. We had a question, when was the last time ECU football was ranked, from Josh Thomas. That was 2014. Bobby Harward was on staff. The Pirates were ranked until losing to Temple in the game that we no longer talk about, and haven't been ranked since. It's all your fault, Bobby.
I'll take the blame. That was just a disaster of a football game. According to a handful of people, it's because the rain gear was not brought. So
urban legends start over stupid things. We did get a text from my buddy Ryan, who is a season ticket holder. He says, at this point with the prices at $15 to $25 not moving the needle, why not just give tickets out at this point and bank on concession sales? I would rather have the money from concessions than nothing at all. And yes, I get the argument for devaluing the season ticket holder, but screw it, we need the place packed. For one game, I can deal with it.
So,
oops, my bad.
I was going to add, that's a great point, because I was thinking, we're not going right now on Saturday. If somebody wants to offer up club-level seats, that's probably the only way I can talk my wife into all of us being able to go. But you got to think, we're a family of 5. If we go to the game, I mean, we're dropping a minimum
on concessions
of concessions alone, probably at least $40. If we're in the club level between sup crushes for my bride and I mean, that's $30 right there at least. And then whatever, I mean, we're getting popcorn that time of day, probably dinner for our family. I mean, we're dropping a pretty penny on concessions alone. So
I can verify. I went to the basketball game last night, basically for free. Used my dad's season tickets and my media pass, and still spent a good amount of money on popcorn, water, snacks with kids. I mean, with kids, it's just inevitable.
That's the tough things, too, like the age y'all's kids are at. Like, I feel like once your kid hits like 10 or 12,
it's easier.
Yeah. They're just like, hey, give me a water so I'm good as long as you feed them before you go in.
So I get it. Maybe Blake Harrell just goes around town just throwing tickets out the window.
Well, I thought, according to Blake, speaking of Blake, aren't you buying all the beer in the second half and Brian Bailey's buying all the popcorn in the second half? So
only if they sell at the stadium. How about that?
All right.
I'll do it. Not really, but
you can make that. There's no way 50,000.
Yeah,
if not a single seat is empty, Steve Igo will buy everybody's beer in the second half.
And there's 100%. There's always, even when it's sold out, that little section in the corners, there's never anybody there. So I think that's the student allotment. All right, let's get into this game. We'll circle back to comments if we have time, because what we'll do, guys, is we'll preview this game, make the Memphis pick, and then we'll take a break, come back, and do college and then NFL final segment. All right, so ECU Memphis, big game. Pirates, when I sent the line over last night, 3-point favorites. Bobby, you have your awesome breakdown on Hoist the Colors, film study for those who haven't seen it. Check it out. What stood out to you watching the Memphis Tigers?
You know, I was a little unimpressed offensively, I think. I was expected to see a little bit more on the offensive end. Now, again, I watched their most recent game, which was against Tulane. Tulane's a very formidable opponent. It's not like they were playing – I was going to say UAB, but they lost to UAB, so that doesn't really matter. But, you know, I was seemed a little uninspired by that performance there offensively. Now, granted, Brendan Lewis is battling an ankle injury. That was pretty apparent there by his immobility, because when he is able to run, it's a complete different offense, a complete different element to it. I mean, that's where he makes his hay. He's improved as a passer this season, but still from a pass game standpoint, it's a ton of hitches. Like, I mean, it's almost exclusively hitches for the most part, and then they take their shot over top. It's almost like, hey, come in, and then boom, we'll use our speed to go over top. Running the football-wise, they're very effective. I mentioned this in the article, but they have one guy averaging Sutton Smith is averaging 6 yards a pop. Disrories, I'm butchering
DeRozier.
DeRozier.
You and Blake Harrell, I think, butchered it about the same.
Okay. Well, hey, it's the BH initials. And bald hair, yeah. But 5.8 yards a pop. And they have what? Let's see. Smith has 6 touchdowns. Lewis has 8 rushing touchdowns. Desirier and Peasant each have 7. That's a ton of rushing touchdowns. They can run the ball pretty well. When you look at the Memphis offensive line, I mentioned this in the write-up, they're not big maulers up front like we saw against NC State and especially BYU. They're more tall and lean, but they're athletic as all get out, and they can move. They run a lot of outside zone, which is really going to be the first time we've seen that. It's going to be really important for gap integrity. It also kind of eliminates a little bit the ability to blitz and bring pressure. We can bring edge pressure, but we're going to have to guess right to the edge of the side that they're running there. So I wonder if, you know, we used to have defensively, we would have some going into a game plan. We would either have, based upon their run scheme, a blitz to the back or a blitz away from the back. And with this game, I wonder if we blitz away from the back here and try to blow up the backfield there in that outside zone. And then from a defensive perspective, they call themselves multiple. They're really 3-3-5. You know, pass rushing wise, blitzing wise, it's really a 3-man rush. Whenever they run rush 3, they're always running a stunt like 100% of the time, or they're bringing exotic blitzes. But the 3-3-5 really helps Memphis because they're a little undersized in the second level at that linebacker level, allows those guys to run, make plays, and then in the secondary, they have your traditional 3-3-5, so it's 3 safeties across on that back line there, and they do a great job of disguising coverage. Bust quite a bit because Tulane was able to beat them over the top, but they are able to mix and match coverage-wise, and those safeties are aggressive as all get out downhill.
That was something that stood out to me is they create havoc, but they give up explosive plays, which I guess is pretty typical of a aggressive, mixing defense. The other thing that stood out to me looking at the numbers this morning, they don't rotate much at all defensively. They kind of go with their guys. I mean, they have their backups they rotate in, but like seeing that, if I'm ECU, I mean, you're already going tempo. Like I'm going tempo as much as possible this game because they really don't rotate a lot. Looking at the numbers, so I think that's an area which is weird because they've actually gotten better defensively in the second half of games. They've started slow in a lot of games, so I'll be interested what happens at the start of this game because we know ECU's been up and down, and you also mentioned in your article, Bobby, like it's kind of a unique defense, kind of a unique offense as far as ECU doesn't see a lot of outside zones. So how does the start of this game go? Well, Memphis this year has started poorly in games and then finished strong. So does that trend continue Saturday?
Yeah, and if we think back to the last time we played a 3-3-5 defense, it was at Coastal Carolina. That first half was pretty rough offensively, to say the least. So to hope that we can come out, because I do think if we can jump out to a lead early and kind of force them into a passing situation in the second half where they just have to air it out, that plays into ECU's hands. So to me, how effective are we offensively from the get-go, and can we push the pedal down there and put pressure on the Memphis defense?
All right, Corey Taylor had a question, where exactly is the central ticket office? So the ticket office, that's Minji's Coliseum, right?
I believe so.
Like in between Minji's and the Murphy Center is where you would go to pick up those tickets, I think is why he's asking.
So it's the one that you would get basketball tickets from. It's the same ticket office.
So that would be your ticket office. All right, back to Memphis and ECU. We'll make our pick here in a minute. We had this discussion earlier, which your point about blitzing makes me wonder. Like Brendan Lewis, he clearly during the Tulane game could not. There was one play he rolled out and avoided pressure, and then he turned his ankle doing it. So he can't really cut, or he couldn't last week cut, change direction. He could run forward once he got going. But knowing that as a defensive coach, like you would want to send more blitzes, I would think, out the middle, but then that leaves you susceptible to the outside zone potentially, right?
Potentially, yeah. And I think, honestly, this coaching staff is going to learn their lesson from the Tulane game. They kind of sat back and played zone. Retzloff is pretty similar quarterback-wise to Brendan Lewis, and I wonder if they learn their lesson. They bring more pressure, especially in pass situations. Because here's the thing. I mean, we talk about blitzing, but you got run-specific blitzes that a coordinator has in their mind, and you got pass-specific blitzes. And I wonder, too, the other thing on third downs, we did it against Temple. I thought it was fantastic. Move that front around. Alternate that front. That creates confusion against the offensive line because, like I said, these tackles are athletic. They're long. It's going to be tough for us to get to the quarterback without bringing some exotic pressure. So I think looking what they do offensively, I feel comfortable enough for our secondary, to play 5-6 yards off. Just sit. You don't have to backpedal at the snap. And then, as the game evolves, and Memphis tries to start taking their deep shots, then you can loosen up a little bit. But I think we need to start tight early, force them into some difficult throws because they do like to wear out the hitch.
I did watch their offensive coordinator, Tim Cranzy's press conference to try to get any intel on Brendan Lewis. He wouldn't give any. But he did basically say teams are blitzing us more, and we have to have an answer for that. So I do wonder, do you see more screen game with them this week if ECU dials it up? Because they know at this point if Lewis plays, they're susceptible to that. And he also said their backup quarterbacks are just as talented as Lewis. They just don't have the experience. So,
well, that brings another check mark, I guess, in favor of bringing some pressures. If they do have to go to a backup quarterback who's less experienced, it's going to be harder for them to recognize that. And you mentioned the screen game. I did notice that a few against Tulane as well, watching that tape, is they ran some tunnel screens with their receivers out wide.
All right, Memphis-ECU, the line I sent over is 3 that we're going to pick. It may be up to 3.5, somebody said, but we'll pick it as what I sent last night. Philip, we'll let you start it. I know you haven't had a chance on this show to give your thoughts on the game, but I know you've been kind of maybe leaning Memphis this week. Are you still feeling that way?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough. I think Memphis won to, 105, 120? How many other guys have on a roster nowadays?
So you can have up to 105 on scholarship. I think that I can't ever, with all the grandfathering in rule.
I know. Well, 1 to whatever the hell the number is, I think Memphis is a better football team. I think this comes down to Coach Logan and I were talking about this last night. If Memphis comes in wanting to play spoiler, If Memphis comes in ticked off with the performance that they had last week, we've got a dogfight to the very end. If they come in with their tail tucked between their legs, then it'd be not an easy victory, but it should be one of those where you just feel like East Carolina controlled it and they had the emotion of the game and Memphis just kind of quit caring. Look, Memphis is the better team, but I believe in Blake Harrell more than I believe in Ryan Silverfield. I think Blake gets his boys up. Give me the Pirates.
Oh,
Love it.
did you talk yourself into it?
Me and Coach Logan's conversation yesterday talked me into it.
I was expecting you to go Memphis there. I think I'm with you. Look, Memphis invests more. I think their roster, talent-wise, top to bottom, is better. And like when I watched the USF Memphis game, I was like, these two teams look like they could belong in a different conference.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, but I just feel like I feel like ECU's as a program under Blake Harrell has kind of been building to this moment. They didn't take care of business in the big games previously. It feels more like they're ready for it now, being out of practice a little bit, being talking to the guys on Monday, and I just think they find a way to win on Saturday. And you know, the one thing that worries me is they have not won a close game this year. So if it's a game that comes down to the end, can they make the play? But I do think ECU finds a way and gets a big win at home. So I'll take ECU and the 3 Bobs.
It pains me to say this.
Oh, no.
It's paining me to say this here, but here's I'm going to go Memphis for your deal. I'm going to go ahead and say that out front, but I'm also going to give some explanation here. Number one, we've talked about the roster and the talent level. I do think Memphis, it's not as far apart as maybe it was a year or so ago. It doesn't seem like, but it is, there is a gap there. But to me, the biggest question is, we've had 3 big games you could probably categorize as big games on the schedule so far. At NC State, BYU at home, and at Tulane. All 3 losses right now. To me, the Pirates have to prove to me that they can take care of the big-time game before I start laying money on them. So that's one reason. The second reason, I have missed, I think, 6 Pirate spread picks in a row. I'm taking one for the team with hopes of a reverse jinx.
All right. Bobby is sacrificing his own picks, which, by the way, do we have a standings update, Philip? We can get a break in if we need to and get on the other side.
I can do it real quick.
Because I think we all did solid last week, or maybe not.
Yeah, so we all actually had really good weeks last week. Bobby went 8-4.
Okay,
both Steven and I went 7-5. This puts me in first at 66-58, followed by Bob. He's even 500, 62-62. Steven, you are 61-63.
So we're all right there.
Boom.
All right. There are your picks.
It's like the top of the American Conference standings.
ECU and Memphis. Let's get a break in. We'll, can't even talk. I'm so choked up about being so close in the standings. We'll come back. We'll make our other college football picks, and we'll pick NFL later as we roll on a Football Friday edition of Hoist the Colors.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Remember, get the podcast of the show on the IBX Media app or where you get your podcasts.
Got it. You don't have to tell me twice. I remember it exactly.
Stephen Igo and Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Football Friday. We just picked ECU. We're not all on the Pirates. I have ECU winning and covering. Philip, who's been leaning Memphis all week, was talked into ECU a little bit by Coach Logan. He's on the Pirates. Bobby wants a prove-it moment from the Pirates. He's on Memphis. So there's your ECU picks recap. Bobby Harvard in studio, brought to you by Sup Dogs. Philip Pilkington behind the glass. Let's continue on. A decent slate, I would say, for college football. Notre Dame is at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a crazy finish to the season. They've been on fire, but they're going to have to earn it. And they've got a shot to play themselves into the college football playoff if they were to run the table. It starts this Saturday. Notre Dame is a 12.5-point favorite going to Heinz Field. And I don't have a good lean on this game one way or the other. We'll start with Bobby, who
I have a lean.
Dabbles with the Fighting Irish. What do you got?
Yeah. The Pittsburgh Panthers that everybody's so high on have beaten the bottom 4 teams in the ACC. Literally 14th, 13th, 12th, and 11th, and then their other win is against the 9th place team. So the only 2 teams they've played with a pulse, they've lost.
Who is Notre Dame beating?
Boise and Arkansas.
Boise, Arkansas, the
Boston
same Wolfpack team that Pittsburgh beat. And they're making statement wins by 3 scores.
That's my bad.
Number
Statement
9,
wins.
yeah, statement wins. Wake up the Echo.
Notre Dame?
Yeah.
12.5. You're going to lay those points.
Narduzzi's going to lose his mind as a defensive head coach.
Did y'all see what he said this week? Like,
up.
this game doesn't matter? Is he playing, like, mind games? I guess technically
he's right.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. But here's the thing. The ACC, we've talked about it with the Duke scenario. Like, they're not guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff. Like, it might not matter, but what happens if you look up in South Florida and JMU's name's called ahead of yours and you're going to the Outback Bowl?
ESPN won't allow that to happen. I get what you're saying, but I don't think ESPN allows that to happen.
You're right, but you can't have that mindset as a head coach.
Yeah.
Is he trying to take the pressure off the players and they can just go out and play? I don't know.
He is.
What do you got, Philip? I still don't have a good feel on this game.
I really like Notre Dame's defense. They've held some decent offenses to not much. So I just think, this could very easily be like 21-7. I think so. I'm gonna go Irish.
I'm gonna do it for Mark Miller. 107.9. He's a Pittsburgh guy. Give me the Panthers to cover 12.5. I just feel like I'm also doing it for Tim Doust. I think he's still there, former ECU outside linebackers coach and special teams coordinator. I think like they've got momentum. This is the game where like they get all hype. They hang around for a little bit, and then Notre Dame kind of takes their will late, but I still think they covered the 12.5. I like that line, though. Vegas did a good job with that because I could see Notre Dame winning by 10-14. I just don't know where it's going to fall.
Notre Dame wins by 21 plus.
All right.
I don't know if they scored 21 plus.
Weren't you supposed to text
You don't think
us about
Notre Dame
something last
scores
week?
21 plus?
21. I think it's 21-7.
Wow, defensive battle.
Yeah.
Is there weather?
No, I just don't think Notre Dame's offense is phenomenal. Pitt's defense is decent, and Notre Dame's defense is really good. I mean, it might be higher than that, but I don't know. I could see it being 24-10, 21-7. I don't think it's like this guarantee that Notre Dame goes out and scores 38 points.
All right. Let's move on with our next pick. USF, big game in the American at Navy. South Florida, boys from Tampa going to Navy. It's a 10-point spread in favor of the Bulls. A couple things to note here. I pulled up the weather report for Annapolis. It is a high of 59 on Saturday with a 50% chance of rain, 14-mile-per-hour winds, and a low. Why can't I find the low? I think a low in the 40s somewhere. This website doesn't help me out. Either way.
I think it's like a noon kickoff.
It's a noon game, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Non-Tampa weather. Everybody thinks Navy stinks, can't do anything. Midshipmen, hang around. Don't know if they'll win it, but I'll take 10 points. Navy at home on senior day. I think they're 20-2 in their last 22 senior days.
Who's the last team to beat them?
Last year against Tulane and ECU.
No, so it's two. Okay.
Yeah. Tulane smacked them last year on senior days. But I'm just going Navy here. I think this is their last stand. They hang around.
I like crab cakes in football. Correction, I love crab cakes in football. Navy is in Maryland, who is famous for crab cakes in football. Give me the midshipmen.
Yeah, it's just hard for me here to take a team who's still very much alive in this race to lose at home by 10 points, especially Service Academy, because they're so tough to blow out. Yeah, I think we're going to go with the logical thing here. I'll take Navy.
It feels like they either lose huge or even like it's just an absolute dogfight.
I think it's a dogfight.
Yeah. So they went to USF last year and won, I think, 28-7 or something.
Yeah.
Now Byron Brown did not play in that game, but still, Horvath kind of ran all over them. They controlled the clock, so USF's got to find an answer for that.
And this backup quarterback for Navy may be better than the guy they started with.
Oklahoma at Alabama. Alabama's a 5.5-point favorite. This is very reminiscent of the Oklahoma at Tennessee game a number of weeks ago. The only difference is Alabama is a much better football team than Tennessee. I'm going to go with the Crimson Tide at home here. 5.5. I don't love that, but I'm going to take Alabama here.
Rolling down the backwoods, Tennessee byway. One arm on the wheel.
Didn't
Roll
expect
Tide.
this today.
I like it. Concert with Bobby Harward on
Let's
this
go.
Friday going into senior day. Yeah, look, man, Oklahoma's not bad, but Bama, Kalen DeVore's finally figured it out. He's not quite Nick Saban yet. He's not Bear Bryant yet, but it's still going to be hard to bet against Kalen DeVore and the Crimson Tide at home.
All right, Iowa is at USC. USC is a 7-point favorite. Now, let me look at the weather report on this one because you would think this would be...
It's in California. It's the same weather all year round.
You think so, but I've heard rain could be in the forecast, and we all know that would favor Iowa potentially. Los Angeles, California weather. Let's see it. All right, on Saturday, 65 degrees, 70% chance of rain, 10-mile-per-hour winds. So does that change our thought process here? I think if it was normal, I'd take USC. I think if it is what it is, I'm still taking USC. Iowa off an emotional loss. Going on the road. Lincoln Riley sending awesome videos about ECU's Hall of Famers. I'm rolling with the Trojans.
You're saying he's distracted?
He took too much time, those 2 minutes, congratulating Shane Carden, Justin Hardy, Dwayne Harrison, Terry Holland. Has him unfocused. But give me the Trojans.
Okay. Fun fact, you can get in Wallace Wade is more expensive to get into this weekend than the Coliseum for a top 21 matchup there between USC and Iowa.
Hey, I just want to say Wallace Wade's hosted more Rose Bowls, though, than the Coliseum, so
True.
That's why.
That's true. That's a good point. Good history, too. Good history pool.
Thank you.
Regardless of weather, I'm going Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes got a tremendous. Yeah, that is the Hawkeyes, right?
I'm shocked you would go away from USC here.
Oh no, dude! This is Iowa's got a great defense. Lincoln struggles with solid defenses. and I think it's going to throw them for a loop. And this Iowa offense, watch out. They may hang 17 or 24 on Saturday.
That'd be enough to cover, but I don't think they do. I'm going to go with the Trojans.
Texas at Georgia. Georgia's a 6.5-point favorite. Dogs. Give me the Dogs. I just think they – I mean, Texas could make this ugly and lose by a field goal, but I think Georgia wins, and I'll just take that they win by more than a touchdown.
The Dogs.
Yeah, I don't trust Texas. Give me Georgia.
Georgia. All right, there's your picks. I'm on every single home team. That's scary, but I guess it's better than being on every single road team. We'll get a break in. We'll come back. We'll make NFL picks to wrap it up.
Hurry to Greenville Toyota for model year-end savings on a Camry. Just $229 a month. $229 a month. Or new RAV4, $279 a month. $279 a month. Only during our model year-end move-out. Right now at Greenville Toyota.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
It's Greenville Toyota's model year-end move-out. Save on a new Corolla, just $149 a month. $149 a month. Or new Tacoma, $249 a month. $249 a month. Now get a move on and save at Greenville Toyota.
We're live with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Hoist the Johnny Roger!
Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here. Bobby Howard in studio. Sup Dogs presenting sponsor today, Philip Pilkington. Behind the glass, let's get through our NFL picks. We've got Bobby's Commanders. We're required to pick them every week. We will never not pick a Commanders game. Sorry, Bobby. The Commanders, they're flailing. They're at the Dolphins. The Dolphins are somehow favored by 2.5. Your thoughts?
We stink. We're terrible. We're not good. We're trash. That's about all I can sum it up to. I am interested to see how much of it was coaching scheme, how much of it was players. I think it was predominantly players because we have so many guys injured on defense. But Dan Quinn has taken over play calling this week. Imagine we see more zone coverage than man. Won't matter with the speed of the Dolphins defense. Give me the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Or speed of the Dolphins offense, versus our defense.
Guys, I would trust Dan Quinn up 28-3 in a Super Bowl when I would trust Frat Boy to win back-to-back NFL football games. Frat Boy is terrible. I'm never picking the Dolphins again as long as he's their head coach. Left hand up, baby. Give me Washington.
The ticket prices continue to drop for Broncos Commanders Sunday night if it stays.
Yeah, we should have not. My group bought our tickets way too early for that.
At this point, somebody's going to pay us to go to the game.
So Bobby and I are holding out to buy tickets as late as possible. All right, our next pick here, we've got Chargers at Jaguars. Jansen Kids Jaguars are hosting L.A. Long travel. Any thoughts here?
Jaguar Jansen, I just can't pull for the Jags, or I am pulling for the Jags. I cannot pick the Jags over the Chargers right now. I think the Chargers are getting into form here. And to me, that defense, I think, gives me some concerns with Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going Jags. I think this is a bounce-back spot. Season's crumbling after losing the way they did to the Texans. L.A., I mean, they're a good team, but, like, I don't know if they're that good.
You have to pick one road team, Igo. Come on, you're 8 for 8 on home.
It's coming, trust me.
Okay. Oh, you're picking Kansas City. That's why. Yeah, you're picking Kansas City. All right, sorry, Jansen. I want to pick you guys. I'm pulling for you guys. But the way last week ended, and now Hunter being out, I don't know. I'm going Chargers.
I will add, if they bounce back from last week, because last week was a disaster.
That was terrible.
Jansen was texting. I mean, he about lost his mind last week.
As he should.
Yeah, as he should. So if they bounce back, I think Jacksonville's legit playoff contender. But if they lose this game, I worry they fall off the wagon.
Yep, I agree.
Panthers are at the Falcons. Speaking of needing a bounce back, disaster loss last week. Falcons are 3.5-point favorites, and I'm going Falcons here. I just think they're a better team, although, I mean, as sad as it is to say, you could argue the Panthers have still been more consistent, even after last week, than the Falcons.
I'm going to go back to the 30-0 game in Charlotte a few weeks ago. Atlanta has that on their mind. They're going to bounce back. I think, too, I'm curious, Philip, your thought as a Panthers fan. Do you want Bryce Young to continue to just spiral down so they don't pick up that fifth-year option, or there's no kind of flirting on that line there of whether or not to pick it up? Or do you want him to?
No, you gotta hope. I mean, you hope that he all of a sudden looks like Tom Brady is what you hope, but yeah, you don't want to be stuck in purgatory. So you hope it's one extreme or the other. Obviously, the bad is the more likely. Look, Atlanta's biggest weakness is stopping the run. Carolina, when they can run the football, they win football games. However, Atlanta got gashed last time. I trust any NFL coaching staff to not lose a game the exact same way twice in just over a month span. Give me Atlanta.
Seahawks are at the Rams. Massive game in the NFC West. Rams 3-point favorites. First of two meetings this year. Both of them are 7-2. I'm just going to go with the home team here. I think Seattle's honestly a better all-around. Yeah. Seattle, I think, is a better all-around team, but I think L.A. wins at home.
I don't know if Seattle's the better all-around team.
They've
been crushing it, but they forgot, one win. 2 wins, over a team with 500, over 500. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's Jaguars, barely over 500. The best teams they've played are Tampa Bay, San Francisco, lost both of them. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, guys, look, I love what's going on in Seattle. JSN's a dog, and Sammy D has revitalized career, but right now, Matt Stafford looks like 2007 Tom Brady. I mean, he's that good. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Hasn't thrown an interception since week 3. Give me the Rams. Also, I just realized we're not picking Buffalo and Tampa.
I had it on the list. Took it off for
Commanders Dolphins.
For Commanders Dolphins, yeah.
We can make a bonus pick if we run through these fast enough. Chiefs 3.5 at Broncos. I'm going Chiefs here. I would love to see if Denver wins. I think they're winning the division, but J.K. Dobbins likely out. Pat Surtain out. They're just very beat up. They need next week's bye in a major way. They're going to lay it all on the line. They're at home. I see a path they could win this game because they're usually pretty good against the Chiefs and Mahomes. But it'll probably be a close game. The only thing that scares me is the hook at 3.5, but I'm going to go with Chiefs to win on the road. This is a must-win for them with the division coming to Denver. So massive game, but I'll take Chiefs here.
Yeah, I'm with the Chiefs, too. They're kind of in Chief form right now, and I got concerns about the offense for the Broncos. Xavier Worthy, big game incoming potentially, but it's going to be a tight game. I was hesitant based upon the field goal spread because Kansas City doesn't win big, but give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, Kansas City could very easily win this 27-24, but I think it's one of those games where you just feel like Denver's chasing the whole time, and Kansas City finds a way to win it by a full touchdown.
Sean Payton will scheme up 3 plays where the Broncos will have a chance to have explosives, and Bo Nix, if he hits them, they'll win. If not, they'll lose. Lions at Eagles. Eagles 2.5-point favorites on, I think, Sunday Night Football this is. I'm going to go with the Eagles. Surprising home team here. They haven't looked great this year, but I think this is a game they get up for and win at home.
I will never pick the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me the Detroit Lions.
Never?
Wow, never.
I won't say never. I hate the Eagles, but the Lions get it done. There's turmoil in Philadelphia.
Yeah, this one was the toughest one for me. I'm just going to go back and see what I did on my picks yesterday, to be honest. I'm cheating the system because I'm in a confidence level pick 'em pool. I'm going to see what game I picked or what team I picked because that was my gut. My gut was the Lions. Give me Detroit.
It does feel like the Lions this year, whenever you're kind of ready to discount them, they rise up. Do we want to pick Bucks?
I mean, I feel like that's such a big
It's a 6-point spread in favor of Buffalo. Bucks at Bills.
Wow, really?
That's what it was
Where
last
is
night.
this game at? Buffalo?
Yeah.
Give me the Bucks to keep it close.
Bills.
Dang, we gotta start the thing. You're saying Bucks keep it close. You're saying Bills. I think Bucks keep it close. Give me Tampa Bay.
All right, there's your picks. 7 NFL games. I'm on every single home team except for the Chiefs. This feels scary, but let's roll with it. Everybody, enjoy your weekend, and hopefully the Pirates get a big win. We'll be back Monday, 12 noon. Thanks to Bobby. Thanks to Philip. We'll see you then on Hoist the Colors.